Trước khi bắt đầu, nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm sách để học IELTS hiệu quả, thì đây là những cuốn sách chúng mình khuyên dùng. Nó có thể giúp bạn đạt điểm IELTS từ 7.0 tới 8.0. Bạn hãy xem ở phần giỏ hàng trong kênh nhé. Cảm ơn bạn đã ủng hộ kênh.
Part 1. You will hear a conversation between an assistant in a post office and a customer who needs to send a package overseas.
Hello, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to send this package to the USA urgently, but I'm not sure what the best way of sending it is.
Well, first of all, when does it need to get there?
Well, it's Tuesday today. It's absolutely got to be there by Friday. Ideally, I'd like it to be there by Thursday, but I realise that might be difficult.
Okay, well, there's courier post, but that takes 4 working days, so that would be next Monday. Or a slightly more expensive service called International Express, which will get there in 3 working days.
Okay, I'll use that then. It's really got to be there as quickly as possible.
Okay. Can I just take some details from you for the form? First of all, what's your name?
Peter White.
And your address?
14 Mountain Road.
And where's that?
That's in Lakeview.
Okay, now who are you sending the package to?
Anna Hillman. That's Hillman.
And what's the address?
Apartment 228, North Building,
Okay.
Upper Park Avenue,
And what city is that in?
New York.
Now, I need a description of the contents of the package, just so customs know what's being sent.
I'm sending books.
How many are you sending? I need to give the number.
And there are 6 in total.
Right. And is there anything else in the package?
Yes, some photographs.
Okay. Now, would you like to insure the contents?
It might be a good idea.
All right. Now, can we just weigh the package and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost?
Here you are. It's heavy.
It's just over 4 kilos, so let's see, that's going to be $98 altogether.
Will I be able to get a receipt with that?
Yes, of course. Now, if the package gets lost, you should contact us as soon as possible. It's very unusual for anything to go missing, but just in case, your receipt has an ID code on it which we will need to be able to trace the package.
Right. So will I also need to bring in the receipt and the delivery form to you if it does get lost?
No, you can just give us a call with the ID code, okay? Now, is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's all. Thanks for your help.
Section 2. You will hear a woman called Marie talking at a conference to a group of people who work in the hospitality industry in Scotland.
Hi, my name's Marie Cooper, and I'm here to tell you about the scholarships offered by the hospitality industry in Scotland. The scholarship scheme supports people currently working in hotels, resorts and tourist attractions. Each year, 100 people are selected to go and work in some of the leading hospitality organisations in the world. This time last year, I was wondering whether to apply for a scholarship and not sure if I had enough experience to be successful. I needn't have worried. The scholarship is open to people of all ages working full-time in the industry. The only stipulation is that you need to have worked for 3 years in hospitality, not necessarily for the same organisation. Of course, they're looking for ambitious people who want to get on, but who haven't had the chance to work in management or studied at college. So there are no minimum qualifications required. And you're just as likely to be offered a scholarship if you work for a large fancy hotel in Edinburgh or a small family hotel in the Highlands. As we all know, Scotland is famous for its fishing, golf, coastline and unspoilt countryside, which is why It's always been a popular destination for tourists from all over the world. Something like 10% of people in Scotland depend on the Scottish hospitality industry for their income, so it's vital that it continues to attract large numbers of visitors each year. The scholarships are a way of maintaining Scotland's reputation as a quality destination, so that visitors to Scotland continue to have a very positive experience. I currently work at the Rock Hotel in Perth as a trainee manager, but I joined as a receptionist 5 years ago. At the time, I was looking for work that fitted in with a young family, and I was lucky to get the perfect job for me, where I could take time off during the school holidays. I realised soon after I started that I loved working with people and enjoyed working in a hotel environment. Last year, I was lucky enough to be a scholarship winner. The application process was actually quite simple. I was worried I'd have to give a presentation in front of loads of people, but you just have to produce a report on your current place of employment, saying how you think you could make a difference there. My manager at the Rock Hotel was very supportive and gave me time off to do the writing and the research. Then, all the winners were invited to an awards ceremony. They were mostly working in different sorts of hotels, although a few were working at tourist attractions, and one was involved in the Edinburgh Festival. I'd expected I'd be one of the youngest, but at least half the people were younger than me. All the people I met couldn't believe their luck that they'd been successful, as it's not unusual to fail the first time. I was sent to the Florida Beach Hotel. Here the emphasis is on customer service, making sure that staff are trained to give customers a really personal service, checking that guests are enjoying their stay, so they're encouraged to chat with them, even if their job is just clearing tables. Quite a different atmosphere to some hotels I know, where the emphasis is on efficiency, which can make the guests feel in the way. One of the things we were encouraged to do while we were on our placements was to find out what people thought about visiting Scotland. That was quite interesting. Although everyone I spoke to knew a bit about Scotland, the majority had never considered a holiday there. And of the people who were thinking of visiting Scotland, they were really only interested in visiting Edinburgh and St Andrews. Anyway, on my return to the Rock Hotel, my manager asked me to introduce some improvements, and the first thing I did was to redraft our customer survey form to get guests' detailed opinions. This used to be given to customers at the end of their stay when they're in a rush to leave, so I decided it would be better to email them to customers at home so they have more time to complete them. It's another way of staying in contact with them too.
Part 3. You will hear a business studies student called Edward talking to his tutor about some research he is doing on product development.
Hello, Edward. Sit down.
Thanks. I need some advice on my presentation about product development.
Right. Have you decided what to focus on?
Yes, the product I've chosen is a particular type of mosquito net.
Any reason for choosing that?
I spent last summer travelling round Africa with a friend. He's studying medicine, so when we were in a region where mosquitoes cause malaria, we visited a medical centre. I chatted to an administrator while my friend talked to one of the doctors, and I found out they've had far fewer cases of malaria since these mosquito nets became available locally. That made me interested in them.
OK. Mosquito nets have quite a long history, don't they? I believe they've been used in Japan for centuries.
That's right, though apparently Queen Cleopatra slept under one in ancient Egypt. That was probably where they were invented.
Right.
And much later, nets were used in China, so perhaps they were invented there independently. Originally, they were made of silk, but later cotton was used, and nowadays they're mainly synthetic. It wasn't until the middle of the 20th century that they developed nets treated with insecticides for use by the military, and that was a major step forward. They used an insecticide called DDT, but it was later found that this could be harmful to people as well as mosquitoes.
Is that still a problem with modern nets?
Oh, no. The chemicals used nowadays are safe, even if people sleep under them every night. And the nets work, and they're odour-free. But they have to be treated fairly often with the chemical, which the owners need to do themselves.
Presumably distribution of the chemical can be a problem in remote areas? I mean, people may not be able to get hold of it easily.
That's right.
OK, tell me about this net you're going to talk about.
Well, the brand name is Oliset, and the product was invented by a Japanese company. These nets are an improvement on the alternatives because the insecticide is contained inside the fibre and released gradually. It's not coated on the outside as with ordinary nets.
So the chemicals don't have to be replaced?
Right, and Oliset nets are also tougher and don't tear as easily. They give protection for at least 5 years, compared with a year or two for other nets.
Well, it sounds interesting. But for your seminar presentation, will you provide the bigger picture as well?
Yes, it'll be a case study of product development. I thought I'd introduce my presentation by describing the background to the new product, the general context.
You mean the business context? Where the investment's coming from and that sort of thing?
Well, I was thinking I'd talk first about insect-borne diseases, particularly malaria, and why there's such an urgent need for new ways of fighting it. Some people might not know much about it.
Yes, that's a good idea.
I've got some statistics about the numbers of people worldwide who get the disease each year. I thought I'd show those. They're quite staggering.
I can imagine. It's one of the world's biggest health problems, after all. It'd also be useful if you could find some statistical information on how malaria affects countries' economic output and present that too.
OK, I'm sure I can find something. After that, I'll talk about mosquito nets. First, the historical development, just briefly, and then I'll introduce the Oliset mosquito net.
Yes, keep it simple. You could just present a bulleted list of its characteristics, the things that make it different from other types of net, and talk that through.
Right. Then I thought I'd outline the production process.
Fine.
Should I give some information about where the money for the project has come from? There are lots of government and private sponsors.
Definitely. That's a very important aspect of any product development. Where are the nets being manufactured, by the way?
Oh, over half are made in Tanzania by a company called A to Z. They got an interest-free loan to buy in the necessary machinery.
Well, I'd say a bit about the company profile as well, and then present figures about numbers of staff and the kinds of people they're employing on the Oliset project, if you can find the details.
OK. I haven't included any information about marketing. I've got a lot of notes about it, but I'm not sure how to present them.
I wouldn't mention that if I were you. You've only got a short time for your presentation and you've got quite a lot of material here already. But you should provide some figures about output. Have you found out from the company's website how many nets they actually produce?
Yes, it's over 30 million a year.
Right.
Then I'm not sure how to finish off. What do you think about including something on potential investment?
Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture given by an art and design lecturer on the topic of Aboriginal textile design in Australia.
The Indigenous people of Australia, or Aboriginals, have a long history of using animal and plant fibres to make a variety of fabric. Over the years, their traditional designs and stories have been incorporated into various textiles. The Ernabella Arts Centre is a place where local Aboriginals can produce their traditional craft and also learn new techniques to decorate fabric. For the first 30 years, the artists crafted rugs working with wool. These rugs incorporated their own unique designs. However, as they became less economical to produce, the artists were introduced to batik, which is an Indonesian method of dyeing textiles. Batik is quicker than weaving, so many of the Ernabella artists started to produce it themselves. Screen printing was later introduced to the centre, and Ernabella's artists were commissioned to produce fabric for furniture that was to be used at popular tourist destinations such as the National Park offices at Uluru. Screen printing has also been used successfully by the Tiwi people who live on islands north of Darwin. Their company, Tiwi Designs, produces fabric that is inspired by their surroundings. For example, they incorporated bird motifs into their early designs. Tiwi art, culture and language are very different from those of mainland Aboriginal groups. The patterns on their fabric are related to the beliefs and legends in their culture. For example, some textile designs are chosen because they are thought to cause rain. Another successful Aboriginal design company was founded by Jimmy Pike. His dynamic prints, paintings and fabrics are greatly influenced by the Australian landscape, in particular that of the desert, which is often featured in this work. Pike worked with acrylic paint, oil pastels and screen printing. Surprisingly, Jimmy Pike's life as an artist began in prison, where he was serving a sentence for murder. The art teachers there recognised his talent and gave him the technical skills he needed to become a successful artist. After Pike's release, he started his own company, aiming to create a product that would sell well commercially but still retain its Aboriginal cultural identity. Eventually, he decided to bring his artwork onto textiles, which were used to produce clothing. The designs he selected were transferred onto cotton and had both a strong linear character and a good colour range. Bronwyn Bancroft is one of the most successful Aboriginal artists and designers to date. She has produced a great deal of artwork and textiles, and many of her paintings are held by Australian art galleries. Her work reflects her Aboriginal roots, but always with a contemporary, fresh view of family and the natural environment. In 1995, she was chosen by a charity organisation to paint a pair of jeans owned by Kathy Freeman, a famous Aboriginal Australian athlete. She used imagery of lizards moving quickly over the Australian terrain, and she added a rainbow, which represents the optimism that Kathy symbolises for all Aboriginal people. In 2001, she was chosen to design costumes for the opening of the biggest street parade ever held in Australia, the Journey of a Nation parade. The people in Bancroft's section of the parade all wore an outfit she designed. It featured the image of a snake that had no head or tail to represent an ongoing culture. Exploitation of creative work can be a problem for any artist, and copyright laws exist to protect individual artists from the unauthorised use of his or her work. This issue is often more complex for Aboriginal artists, as the symbols and motifs used in their designs also hold cultural significance for them. An example of this was when a businessman had rugs made overseas incorporating images stolen from Aboriginal paintings. The carpet case, as it became known, was taken to court, where luckily the artists won.